So according to the Toronto Sun, reports from the US have shown us that the wrong side or wrong person surgeries happens once in every 100,000 cases. I mean, that sounds too often to me. That's one too many. It might shock you to know that there are a ton of cases from around the world where people are getting the wrong kind of invasive surgery because of the wrong paperwork issued. And I'm talking about patients going under the knife for an open heart surgery or brain surgery that they didn't even need in the first place. Is this real life right now? So next time you are admitted to the hospital, make sure that you know why you're in there, because if you don't, well, you might find yourself on this list in future videos. We might make a part 2 and you might see yourselves. How's it going, YouTube? I'm your host for this one, Land and Do Not Sing, and welcome back to another most amazing top 10 video. So before we get started, I want to know, what is the worst injury you've ever suffered? And also make sure you guys go check out our top 10 central channel. It is absolutely hilarious, and I'll make sure to put a link in the description down below. And yeah, I'm in the videos. And make sure you guys stick around to number 1 on this video, because you guys would not believe the story that happens. Alright, let's get right into this one. This is the top 10 scary times the wrong patient underwent surgery. Alright, let's get started on this list. And at number 10, with the vasectomy done on the wrong patient. This is probably every man's worst nightmare. A vasectomy is a surgical procedure where 2 reproductive tubes are cut so that the man can no longer get a woman pregnant. So this is kind of a huge mistake. This happened when surgeons at a very reputable hospital in Nairobi conducted an irreversible vasectomy on a patient who only needed a minor procedure done on their hand. Apparently the surgeons performed the wrong procedure on this poor soul, all because of the ID bracelets. They got mixed up. This is why doctors ask the patients if they know what surgery that they are having, so that life alternating mistakes like this aren't made. A completely wrong procedure takes us over to number 9. A patient who was admitted to the hospital to have his bladder checked out, but little did he know that wasn't going to happen. Instead, he ended up getting circumcised. I mean that sounds very painful. His chart was mixed up with another patient, and I guess no one decided to do their due diligence and to check to see what procedure that this person actually needed. So instead, they chopped off some of his private parts. And you know, that absolutely sucks. A little piece of him is gone forever. I don't know if you can get it back and like sew it back on. The unnecessary mastectomy brings us to number 8. A hospital over in Halifax, Canada was under a lot of scrutiny after they gave a patient an unnecessary mastectomy where they removed both of her breasts. But that's not all. This story gets crazier. They also delayed a life-saving surgery because the hospital accidentally switched the lab results with the other patients. Is this real life right now? I mean, get your stuff together, people. You're doctors. A hospital is not the kind of place where you would want to be making mistakes. The woman who had the mastectomy was originally told that she had breast cancer, but as it turns out, she was actually completely healthy, and those lab results, they weren't hers. Imagine being faced with that. So you're telling me that she lived in fear of dying for months, and she had a pointless surgery to find out she didn't need the surgery and she doesn't have cancer. I hope that this woman won a lot of money when she sued the hospital for that mistake. Up next, at number 7, we have surgeons who removed the wrong kidney. I mean, yeah, that's right. It happened. A trained and broad certified surgeon cut and removed a healthy kidney from the wrong patient. While the hospital was doing their investigation, they realized that this was a simple case of misidentifying the patient, so that's why the wrong patient underwent the knife. How about you just say, hey sir, what's your name? I mean, it's 2020, people. How does stuff like this happen? We need to initiate some sort of checklist, like ask patient his name or her name, and then verify it with your records, and then ask a few more times to make sure. Maybe check ID. I don't know if people bring in fake IDs to the hospital. I don't know if that's a thing. You know what, I'm thinking, I should get my name tattooed on my forehead. So in the future, if I ever need to undergo surgery, everybody can identify me pretty easily. Our prostate cancer surgery performed on the wrong person, and this unfortunate surgery mix-up takes us to number 6. A man got sliced and diced during surgery, but he later discovered that he didn't really have cancer, and he underwent debilitating surgery for nothing. The patient obviously sued the clinic because the pathologist admitted to mixing up the tissue samples. So wait, so you're telling me that this this man lived under the impression that he had advanced prostate cancer and he could have died, while this other poor man actually had prostate cancer but wasn't getting treated for it because he absolutely has no idea. I mean, this is wrong on so many different levels. This is pretty complex. Kidney transplant makes its way onto this list at number 5. A hospital in New Jersey publicly admitted that they performed a kidney transplant on the wrong patients. The surgeons confused the patients because they had the same name and they were around the same age. But still, I mean, that's no excuse. Do you know what would happen if a kidney wasn't compatible with the other patient? If their blood types were different or incompatible, the patient could have easily died. But thankfully, both operations, it was actually a success, but the original patient who didn't receive the kidney had to go back on the long transplant waiting list. Why? Well, because his kidney that he was supposed to get went into someone else who didn't need it. All right, moving on from that one, we have a heart surgery. A heart surgery is up next at number 4. A 67-year-old woman was admitted to a teaching hospital to do a non-invasive procedure done on her heart. After the procedure was done, she was brought to a different hospital room on a different floor. So instead of being discharged the next day, well, she was wheeled into the operating room again, but this time it was for open heart surgery. I mean, did she not ask any questions? Either she enjoys unnecessary surgeries or she was unconscious when they brought her into the OR. Well, after being on the operating table for over an hour, the doctor from the first surgery came in and asked what they were doing to this patient. Well, once they realized that they messed up big time, they canceled the surgery and sent her to the recovery room. I guess they had to like sew her up, but this extra surgery wasn't exactly harmless. She could have suffered from a heart attack, stroke, internal bleeding, infections. I mean, she could have died. And I wonder if she was even told if they screwed up. Maybe they're like, hey, it was a success. You're fixed. You have been cured. Next up on our list, number 3, we have a lung operation. Back in 2009, a very unlucky patient was admitted to a hospital in London where he got a lung operation that he didn't even need. So the surgery was intended for someone else. Well, someone else who had the same name. So maybe putting my name on my forehead may not work out. Well, I keep reading about how rare this is and how it never happens, but already on this list, we're seeing it more and more. It's happening on more than one occasion. I mean, the lungs are a pretty important organ if you ask me. I'm no doctor or anything. Surgeons can't be making huge mistakes like this. The wrong patient undergoes brain surgery, and this scary reality takes us to number 2. Okay, I've talked about the wrong heart surgery, the wrong lung surgery, kidney surgeries performed on people, but this one has to be one of the scariest stories. Let me break it down for you guys. One patient needed surgery for a blood clot in the brain, and the other one needed a non-invasive treatment for swelling. So those are two very different procedures, but a horrifying mix-up of ID tags caused the one guy to have an extreme brain surgery. The doctor didn't even realize that they had made the mistake until hours into the surgery, and I mean, they have this guy at the table, they cut him open, they're looking for the blood clot, and you guessed it, they couldn't find it. Luckily, the patient recovered, but something tells me that he will never get over the fact that he literally had brain surgery for absolutely no reason at all. And now in our number 1 spot on this list, we have pulling the plug on the wrong patient. This is absolutely terrifying. This is so wrong. Now, I know this isn't surgery done on the wrong patient, but this has to be the worst thing ever. This doctor has literally killed the wrong patient who was on life support. I'd rather have an unnecessary brain surgery like the guy we just talked about than have my life or someone that I know their life just yanked from them, and all because of a misidentity. So how the heck does something like this happen? Well, doctors got permission from the sister of a different patient who was also on life support to pull the plug. Both patients had the same name and they were the same age. So you're telling me you listened to a complete stranger and you didn't check or go through any sort of paperwork or hospital procedures. You just yanked the cord out of the wall and called it a day. This is way too crazy. It's pretty depressing. I can't believe that something like this actually happened, and to be honest, I'm pretty worried. I mean, what the heck is going on? Well, there you guys have it. You made it to the end of this video. Don't forget to check out Top 10 Central. If you guys are feeling down, you need a good laugh, make sure you guys go check it out. I have the results for this one, Land and Do Not Sing, and I'll see you guys all in the next most amazing Top 10 video.